Hello, my name is Douglas Arner, and welcome to this month's episode of Looking Back, Looking Forward. This time, I want to do something that I like to do every year at this time, which is really look forward from the standpoint of what I think some of the biggest issues in the context of finance, technology, and regulation are going to be for the coming year and really the coming years beyond that. And we'll then spend time in subsequent episodes across the year delving into each of these more deeply. And I think the first of those is really in the context of cross-border payment systems. It's something where there has been lots written about many weaknesses and problems in the cross-border payment system. But I think this year is the year that we're likely to see real operationalization of some very exciting technological projects, particularly in the context of linkages between domestic retail fast payment systems on a cross-border basis and at the wholesale level between wholesale central bank digital currencies and real-time gross settlement systems. And I think from the standpoint of retail payments and from the standpoint of wholesale foreign exchange transactions, these new technological developments are game changers. The second area where I think we're really going to see some significant developments this year is in the context of digital assets. Digital assets, for me, in an important number of jurisdictions will, by the end of 2024, be a regulated industry incorporated into the traditional financial sector. And this is a major structural change which will have huge implications both for the digital assets industry as well as for the traditional financial services industry. And I think in particular, we're seeing in the EU, in Japan, in Switzerland, Hong Kong, Singapore, the UK, UAE, a group of core jurisdictions which are following a similar sort of regulatory approach to crypto stablecoins and digital assets that will have a very important impact from the standpoint of the functioning of this industry going forward. The third area is really from the standpoint of artificial intelligence, but particularly around ongoing efforts in an increasing range of countries and regional areas to build systems to maximize the benefits of aggregate data, including from the standpoint of AI, while at the same time trying to minimize some of the many risks that have emerged both in the context of data aggregation as well as in the context of artificial intelligence. And I think China, India, the EU, we're all seeing very interesting developments in this space across this year. The fourth area is really from the standpoint of use of technology for regulatory and supervisory purposes, Regtech and Suptech. One of the most common things that I'm seeing across the central banking and financial regulatory community is numbers of digital financial transformation projects. Central banks and regulators digitizing and developing strategies to digitize their own operations and achieve their objectives better. And many of these center around data aggregation, data acquisition, and data analytics, often with digital regulatory reporting playing a central role. And that really highlights our fifth area, which is in the context of sustainability. And it's across this year that we see a transformation from the standpoint of many sustainability reporting requirements from soft obligations to increasingly hard obligations. And the transformation of a reporting requirement from a soft to a hard application fundamentally transforms the way that the industry responds from the standpoint of compliance processes, but also the creation of these new pools of structured data around sustainability information, and in particular, their aggregation in an increasing range of financial infrastructures. I think this is going to be a real turning point, both from the standpoint of addressing risks, but also from the standpoint of better mobilizing finance to support the new technologies and the innovations that we need to build better energy systems, better economies, and better financial systems. So as I said, I think 2024 is going to be a big year from the standpoint of finance, technology, and regulation, and we're going to be delving into each of those over the coming months.